This is the urinary system. The urinary system consists of renal artery and renal vein, which is located in the middle. Next, we have a pair of kidney on the left and right. Below that, we have the bladder, which is connected by ureter, and finally the urethra.
How about the cross-section of the kidney? First of all, by going through the renal artery, oxygenated blood and nutrients from the heart will transport to the kidney. Then, from the kidneys, the renal vein transports the deoxygenated blood back to the heart. After that, the renal artery branches into the afferent arteriole. Each afferent arteriole divides to form a cluster of blood capillaries called the glomerulus. The capillaries of the glomerulus recombine to form the efferent arteriole. Each efferent arteriole divides to form a network of capillaries that close around the kidney's renal tubules. These capillaries eventually join together again into the renal veins.
The human urinary system plays an important role in homeostasis. The urinary system is to excrete nitrogenous compounds such as urea, as well as blood osmotic pressure, blood pH, and others. Let's discuss about the structure and function of the kidneys. The kidneys consist of the cortex and medulla. Urine that is formed in the kidneys flows into the pelvis. I wonder what are the functions of the kidneys.
Kidney have two main functions, that is excretion and osmoregulation. As an excretory organ, the kidney excrete toxic waste that is nitrogenous compounds such as urea, uric acid, ammonia, and creatine. As an osmoregulatory organ, the kidney control four. The first one, the total volume of water in body fluids. Second, concentration of ions in body fluids. The third one is blood osmotic pressure, which is the concentration of dissolved materials and volume of blood and body fluids. The last one is electrolyte content and pH of body and body fluids.
Now I'm going to share about the formation of urine. The process of urine formation involves three processes, that is ultrafiltration, reabsorption, and secretion. First, in the nephron of each kidney consists of million functional units called nephrons. Secondly, Bowman's capsule is connected to the renal tubule. Thirdly, Bowman's capsule is cup-shaped and contains the glomerulus. Fourthly, the renal tubule is made up of proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Hell, and distal convoluted tubule. Fifthly, the proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, and the Bowman's capsule lie within the renal cortex. Lastly, the loop of Hell is a long U-shaped tubule that extends into the medulla of the kidney.
For the formation urine. Urine forms when, firstly, blood entering the glomerulus is under high hydrostatic pressure because the diameter of the afferent arteriole is larger than the diameter of the efferent arteriole. This pressure causes ultrafiltration to occur, that is, fluid seeps through the walls of the glomerulus capillaries into the cavity of Bowman's capsule. The fluid enters Bowman's capsule is called glomerular filtrate. The glomerular filtrate has the same composition as blood plasma but does not contain red blood cells, platelets, and plasma proteins. Besides, since red blood cells and plasma proteins are too large to seep out of the glomerulus, they remain instead in the blood flowing to the efferent arteriole.
Now I'm going to talk about reabsorption at the proximal convoluted tubules. Reabsorption of the glomerular filtrate occurs along the renal tubule. The dissolved substances permeate across the renal tubular walls into the blood capillary network. Other than that, in the proximal convoluted tubule, sodium ions are passively absorbed. The reabsorption of 100% glucose and amino acids also occurs through active transport. Lastly, the movement of dissolved substances into the blood capillary network reduces the concentration of dissolved substances in the glomerular filtrate, but will increase the concentration of dissolved substances in the blood capillaries. As a result, water enters the blood capillaries through osmosis.
Formation of urine have few steps. Now I will talk about the first step of formation of urine, which is reabsorption at the loop of Henle and distal coronal tubes. Now, in the loop of Henle, water is reabsorbed through osmosis. Sodium ions are reabsorbed through active transport. In distal coronal tube, more water, sodium, and chloride are reabsorbed. Because at PCT, glucose, amino acid, and salt already reabsorbed. TCT has two parts, which is ascending limb and descending limb. Ascending limb is permeable to water. Ascending limb is permeable to salt. DCT less salt, but more urine. Water and salt and continue reabsorb because active transport is low concentration to high concentration. The last is the amount of water and salt reabsorbed depends on the water and salt content in blood. If blood contains a lot of water and sodium, will be less reabsorbed because in our body have two hormones to control the water reabsorption more or less. The two hormones which is ADH and aldosterone. If drink more water, ADH hormone will decrease. Aldosterone will increase. Less ADH, less water absorbed. More aldosterone reabsorb more salt. Reabsorb more salt. If blood contains few of water and salt, it will be reabsorbed more because ADH hormone increase. Aldosterone will decrease. If more ADH, more water will reabsorb. Aldosterone decrease. The salt will reabsorb less. My presentation until now.
Next is secretion. Secretion is the process of secreting waste materials in the blood that were not filtered earlier into the renal tubule. This process is opposite to the process of reabsorption. Secretion occurs along the renal tubule and collecting duct, but is most active at the distal convoluted tubule. Secretion occurs through simple diffusion and active transport. Substances that are secreted include hydrogen ions, potassium ions, ammonium ions, urea, creatinine, toxic substances, and some drugs. Secretion gets rid of toxic waste and helps to regulate the level of ions in the blood.
Before, we had talked about the secretion step. Now, I would like to provide you the next step, which is the urine formation. At first, when the renal fluid reaches the collecting duct, only a small amount of salts are left. And most of the water has been absorbed back in the bloodstream, and the remaining renal fluid is called urine. The remaining renal fluid, urine, flows down the collecting duct. Here, a small amount of urea diffuses out into the surrounding fluid and blood capillaries due to its small molecular size. After leaving the collecting duct, the urine flows through the ureter, bladder, urethra, and is finally excreted. The components urine contains are water, urea, and HCl, salt, uric acid, and creatinine. Thank you.
Drinking too much water is a type of normal blood osmotic pressure, and even less blood osmotic pressure drops to below normal range and osmosis receptor in the hypothalamus become less stimulated. So less LDH is secreted from the less stimulated pituitary gland. Low LDH concentration can cause the walls of distal convoluted tubules and creating them to become less permeable to water. And then less water is reabsorbed from the renal field into blood capillary, and less concentration urine is generated in high volume. After of that, blood osmotic pressure returns to normal.
By drinking too little water or loss of water due to vigorous activity, then blood osmosis pressure will increase above the normal range. The osmotic receptors in the hypothalamus are stimulated. The pituitary gland is stimulated too. So more LDH is secreted from the pituitary gland. The high LDH causes the walls of the distal convoluted tubule and the collecting data to become more permeable to water. More water is absorbed from the renal fluid into the blood capillary. Urine is very concentrated and low in volume is generated. At last, blood osmosis pressure returns to normal.
Next, 13.3. Health issues related to the urinary system. Kidney failure can be caused by illness, bacterial infections, or accidents. Diabetes mellitus is the leading cause of renal failure, followed by high blood pressure. Both these conditions damage the glomerulus. Other than that, some individuals may face the problem of kidney stone formation. Kidney stones are hard masses made of uric acid, calcium oxalate, or crystalline calcium phosphate.